Ever think about what happens if, like, the big tech companies, the ones we all use every single day, if those just, like, disappeared or completely changed?
Not every day, but yeah, I get the idea. It's kind of a scary thought, actually.
It is. And that's exactly what we're going to be looking at today. It's going to be a deep dive into, like, the future of these big tech giants.
Cool.
And the predictions for how they might change over just the next 5 years.
So, like, who are we talking about here? Like, give me names. Who are these big giants?
Yes. So, like, the big names everyone knows, right?
Okay.
So, Alphabet.
Google.
Google's parent company.
Gotcha, yeah.
Amazon, Apple, the whole shebang.
The ones we can't live without, basically.
Yeah. And they're calling them, like, the Magnificent Seven of tech.
Magnificent Seven? Oh,
The Mag 7.
I like that.
So that's what we're going to be digging into today.
Okay, so where are we getting all this, like, future predicting info from? What are our sources?
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of expert predictions, like people who really study this stuff.
Oh.
And they're forecasting, like, what these companies might look like in the next 5 years. And it's pretty interesting. Some of it's pretty surprising.
Let's hear it.
All right, so first up, this one kind of blew my mind. Ready?
Hit me.
NVIDIA.
NVIDIA.
They're predicted to have, like, a massive amount of power.
Really? NVIDIA. I know them for, like, graphics cards and gaming.
Yeah.
Why would they suddenly become, like, the top dog?
Right. I thought the same thing. But apparently those graphics processing units, the GPUs...
Yeah, I know GPUs.
They're like the backbone of AI development. Like, all the big AI stuff happening relies on NVIDIA's hardware.
So you're saying they're like the fuel for the AI fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one expert even compared it to oil in the 20th century. Like, whoever controlled the oil had all the power, right?
Yeah.
And they're saying NVIDIA could have that same level of influence because they control this crucial piece of the AI puzzle.
Wow. Okay, I'm starting to see why this is a big deal.
Yeah, but it gets even more interesting. There are these other companies, ASML and TSMC, and they're emerging as, like, major players, too.
ASML and TSMC. Never heard of them.
Right. Most people haven't. But they're, like, essential to the entire tech ecosystem.
Okay, now I'm really curious. Spill the beans. Who are these guys and why are they so important?
So get this. They make the specialized equipment that's used to manufacture semiconductors.
Semiconductors.
Yeah, those tiny little chips that are in, like, everything. Our phones, computers, even the advanced AI systems, everything runs on those chips.
Okay, I'm with you.
And ASML and TSMC, they're the ones who make the machines that make the chips. So know them, no chips, no tech.
Whoa. So even NVIDIA, with their powerful GPUs, they rely on these companies to actually make the chips.
Exactly. And because of that, some experts think that ASML and TSMC could actually become more valuable than some of the big Mag 7 companies.
Wow. Talk about a power shift. But even if these companies keep growing, isn't there a limit to how big they can get?
Yeah, that's called market saturation. Like, they capture so much of the market that it becomes hard to keep growing at the same rate.
It's like trying to squeeze into a pair of jeans that are already too tight.
Exactly. And we're already seeing it with companies like Meta, formerly Facebook, right? They've kind of hit a ceiling with social media because they already have so many users.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how do these tech giants avoid becoming, like, dinosaurs? How do they stay relevant and keep growing?
Well, a lot of them are diversifying, like Amazon, for example. They're not just online shopping anymore. They've got cloud computing, entertainment, even grocery delivery.
So they're spreading their bets, not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Exactly. By branching out, they're less vulnerable if one specific market slows down.
Smart move. But there's another big factor that could shake things up, right? I mean, what happens if the economy takes a nosedive? Do all these tech giants just crumble?
That's a great question. And the truth is, economic downturns can actually create winners and losers, even among the Mag 7. Some companies, like that Amazon example, they're probably going to weather the storm better because they've got so many different sources of income.
Makes sense.
But others, especially those that depend on people having extra money to spend, they might struggle more. Like Tesla, for example. If people are worried about their jobs, they're probably not going to be rushing out to buy a new electric car.
Yeah, good point.
So yeah, a recession could really shake up the tech world. But there's one more thing we need to talk about, and it's a big one. Regulations.
Oh, yeah. Governments are getting more and more concerned about these tech giants having too much power. I mean, we've seen it before, right?
Yeah, like with the whole Microsoft antitrust case back in the 90s.
Yeah.
That changed the game for them.
Totally. And something similar could happen to the Mag 7.
But for those who don't speak legalese, what does antitrust actually mean?
It's basically about making sure that no single company gets so big that it can crush all the competition. Like, imagine if Amazon was the only place you could buy anything online. That wouldn't be good for anyone, right?
Yeah, I see your point.
So governments are starting to look at ways to maybe break up these big companies, or at least impose some stricter rules on how they do business.
And that could open the door for new companies to emerge and challenge the status quo.
Oh, exactly.
So the big takeaway here is that even these tech giants, they're not invincible. The next 5 years are going to be wild.
Totally.
We've got AI changing the game, these unexpected competitors popping up, and the economy and regulations adding even more uncertainty. It's going to be fascinating to see how it all unfolds.
Absolutely. And you know what? Thinking about this stuff actually makes you realize just how much power these big tech companies have in our lives.
Yeah.
Like, take a minute and just look at your phone. Think about the apps you use, the websites you visit, the devices you can't live without. How many of those are connected to just a handful of these companies?
That's actually kind of freaky when you think about it.
It is. And who knows what those companies are going to look like in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, what new technologies are going to emerge, and how will they change our lives?
Good questions.
Things are changing so fast.
Yeah.
It's like every day there's something new. Makes you wonder what's next, you know?
It really does.
Makes you think.
Lots to think about.
It really does. All right.
Okay. Well, that's it for our deep dive today. Thanks for joining us, and keep those brains buzzing.
Catch you next time.